My name is Kidus. I am an SAT tutor at ECP, and I have a combined SAT super score of 1560 with a perfect 800 on the math score. I have taken the SAT twice, first in March 2021 and then next in August 2021. Before my first test date, which was in March, I was completely new to the SAT. I had no idea what I was going through. So I used the internet as my main tool to research about the test and study for the test. I prepared for about 2 months, around 2 months to 1.5 months before my March test date. And this helped me get a score of 1500 for my first test date. However, I was unsatisfied with my math score the first time around. I got a 740. And I felt that because I was anxious, since it was my first time ever taking the test, I could do better. So for August of 2021, I signed up for the SAT again. This time I had the experience that I needed. I had taken the test already once, so I knew what to expect. I spent the entire 3 months of summer studying for August 28th, which was my test date. And this time around, I got a 1540 on the test with a perfect 800 on the math section. The #1 resource I used for my first test date was Khan Academy. Khan Academy has partnered with the College Board to create the perfect SAT training website. They have 10 free practice tests, and even further than that, they have small sets of questions where you can practice specific topics. For example, ratios and proportions in math, or narrative grammar in English. This website was the #1 resource I used for my first time, which helped me get a 1500. For my second time, however, I had repeated the practice tests on Khan Academy so much that they had become ineffective. I had remembered my answers all too well, so I began searching for other resources. For preparing for my second SAT test, the main resource I used was actual SAT tests that were given in the past. For example, May 2019 SAT test with the PDF and answer key. I simply do that test, check my answers, understand my mistakes, and move on. I was able to use these real-life tests to better prepare for my second test date because they are more accurate than Khan Academy. Although Khan Academy is a very valuable resource, there are some discrepancies between Khan Academy and the real SAT. For example, Khan Academy's English passages are a little bit shorter than the real thing, and this might lead you to not be able to manage your time properly when you're taking the test for real. So by doing past test dates, I was able to best prepare myself by doing tests that were more accurate to what I was about to face. I would say the best resource I used was, again, the real-life SAT tests, because they are very, very accurate to the tests that I had taken in my test dates, and they helped me prepare because they don't give you explanations to the answers that you got wrong on. So it's up to you to figure out why you made a certain mistake, and in doing so, not only do you teach yourself a new topic, but you also come across related topics that could prevent future mistakes. I have taken over 30 practice tests. This is a combination of Khan Academy practice tests and the real-life SAT tests. Not only have I taken over 30, but I've taken these tests multiple times as I forgot my answers as time passed. So this helped me really prepare because it was like a new experience each time I repeated a test. The most important factor that helped me get the score that I have is dedication. I remember when I was preparing for my first test date, there was a long period of time where I simply couldn't raise my score above 1450. And this was very frustrating because I was aiming for 1500 and above. And it seemed to me that no matter what I was trying, I kept getting mistakes for whatever reason it was. But despite all the difficulties and challenges, I persisted, I stayed dedicated, and this helped me get a 1500 on my first try. So by far, the #1 thing that was valuable to me is dedication. The #1 advice I would give to students, or you, the audience, is, like I said, be dedicated, be persistent, be consistent. Have a regular practice time every day. You could be doing 20 questions a day, 30 questions a day, or you could do a full practice test each day. but you really need to stay persistent. It could get frustrating depending on your study habits. Believe me, I understand how frustrating it can get, but by staying dedicated, by understanding why you make each mistake and preventing it in the future, you will be able to see a huge improvement in your score.